before me a shadow from another world where no other can follow. Carry me to my own, to where I can cross over, close to home I cannot say, close to home, feeling so far away.
So first of all, I'm so, now I'm gonna cry. Unbelievably grateful that all of you guys came to honor my sister, our sister. I don't know that I can do this. I didn't think I was, if the best people in this world live the longest, Erica would be here with us. Because Erica was truly the best person I've ever known. That's the truth. Maybe I should go after that. She was a wonderful big sister to us. She took care of us. She rode her bike with us to the swimming pool. She just looked out for us. She always cared about us. And when we wanted to migrate from the Midwest to California, it was like, I got a bed, come, stay with me, you know? She was always there for us. And then, when she went to Southeast Asia, you can see, I hope we're gonna have some statements by her wonderful Hmong friends. She was there for them and loved them. And Erica loved people, and she wanted to help people, and she wanted to leave a legacy of goodness and caring, and just everything she had to give, she gave. She'd give you the shirt off her back, right? You all know that, how wonderful she was. And when all that ended and she was just living in this beautiful house, she started to take in kitty cats because they needed help. And she, at one point, had 40 cats. I mean, she just couldn't say no to anybody. She wanted to help and take care. And so I just feel so fortunate that I had this incredible sister for as long as I did. She was such a blessing in all our lives, and again, I just thank you all for honoring her today, and I hope you'll have something that you can share with us about how special she was. Thank you.
I'm Bill Hagen. I'm Erica's oldest brother, so I'm number 2. I'm older than Catherine, unfortunately. So, again, we'd like to thank you all for coming. We're blessed that you're able to spend this time with us, and that Erica had this many friends. It's something that a lot of people don't have in this world. So, seeing this many people that cared really is nice. So, Erica really cared about people. She cared that what they felt, what they thought. She didn't care what color they were. She didn't care where they came from. And she just cared that they were good people. So that's my memory of her was that she was a caring person. I spent a semester in college living with her. That was an experience. Never wanted to do that again. But I would come out here and sleep on the couch, visiting her, visiting when she was taking care of Mom, sleeping with her cats. I now have 3 of her cats.
I got you beat.
Yeah. Well, I had 3 others, so.
Still got you.
But I had to take them from here back to Florida.
That I don't have.
Yeah. So again, I thank you all. Anybody wants to say anything? Don't feel pressured. Please. Thank you.
I'm Todd Smith, and in 1972, Erica walked into my office and introduced herself to me and told me that she was looking for an agent. My office was at the corner of Sunset and Doheny, and to be kind, it was a dump. And to everyone else trying to make their way in Hollywood, it was obvious to them, but not to Erica, that I knew nothing about everything. And for some reason, we had one of those life-changing conversations. And she was the first person to say to me, I would like you to be my agent. And I either thought that this was a friend who sent her there to play a joke on me, because the company that I worked for accomplished very, very little on behalf of everyone they represented. Nonetheless, we struck up a remarkable friendship, and we went on a tear through the episodic television and movie of the week world in Hollywood that is just unbeatable. And we both learned a lot, and our affection for each other grew exponentially. Over the years, it became obvious to me that there was very little in life more valuable than the company you keep and the friendships you create. And to Erica's everlasting credit, in a world where perception is reality and frivolity and shallowness are sort of expected and required, Erica was guided only by her heart and by her feelings. And for reasons that I will never know, I mean, I've never had a relationship in my life other than my parents and my brother that lasted this long and was as enjoyable. But she went to Bali to make a commercial, which probably would have taken 4 days, including travel. And she came back, I think, 2 years later. And she had a wealth of experiences that many of you who are here today can attest to. Her goodness and her generosity never wavered. And I'm 71. It's too late for me to have another friendship that will last 47 years. So I'm going to really cherish this one. And it's a joy to see all of you here as an affirmation of how many people she touched positively.
So, the Erica, the one who teach us the first English. I was working for the USCIA arm, but I just speak little English. But by 1980, and we escaped from Laos to Thailand. That's how they came to teach the refugee for the American culture and how to live. So I met her right there. I have no idea why, and she just came to our play. We had a play like this, but we had 3 families for 24 people live in this little play like this. But Erica still coming to stay with us, enjoy with the dinner sometime, like that. And she really teaches us how the American people live it. But that time in Thailand, people are scared to come to the United States. They say the people coming to the United States, they're gonna feed the giant. They're gonna give the body to the giant. And Erica said to me, I said, not true. In America, they never eat raw meat like in Thailand. So they don't eat people. So that's what she said, don't worry, just let's go to American. And she asked me if I really want her father in Kansas City can sponsor my family. But my cousin lived in Garden Grove, but my cousin said no, I had to sponsor my cousin to come. So that's how we came to Garden Grove by 1981. But after a year later, in the program over in Thailand, she moved back to United States. And she came, she asked me, can I stay with your family? My family, we had 8 people in a full house, a 4-bedroom. But I said, oh, welcome. So when she moved, we shared a room with her and then my daughter here. And she about 3 years old, and she carried my daughter all the time, and she said, it's my daughter, this one. And by the time she came, and we have not really know what to do in the culture. One day I remember, I went and bought a bowl to eat, but I look at the Easy Clean. I bought that, I think we have 5 kids, I bought 5 of them. And after I can look at this is the only fit for cat and dog, not for human being. And I said, what should I do? She said, return it. I said, it cannot be returned. She said, yeah, in United States, if you buy something wrong, no right, return it. That's all. She said, give it to me. And she and me, we went to they call the store that, what's that? Walmart? No, cable? I don't know. I don't remember. That's what. And she will return that one. But also my family, that we're learning English from her. She teach us how to speak English. In my 1982, I cannot get a job. And one day she said, let's go find a job. She drove me all day long. I was so tired. Yeah, I was so tired. So I did ask her, but the first we met people who were eager to go. And I said, take him. Erica said, well, do the people cover danger? I said, let he stay in the front with you, and I stay in the back. But anything, I punch him. Erica said, okay. So we took him to some place. So he said, go to my cousin. So we took him. But that day I was so tired. I thought to myself, what's wrong? What the lady take me all day long? I was so tired. Yeah, I was so really tired. So after that we came home. She stayed home, called each company what we applied for, each one by one. And then by Thursday again, that was Monday. And Thursday we went back again. I was so tired. I really tired. But she said, keep on going until you get a job. I said, well, that lady gave me trouble. I said like that. But she said, don't worry, keep on going until you get a job. That's how we went until I get my job from her. And then after that I can speak better English, so I can transfer my job for other job, better job. So we really enjoy with her. And each time she still visit us in Fresno all the time. And she keep calling us all the time. Even she went to Minnesota, something like that. She traveled to Minnesota. She got the program again in the United States. So she went back again, but she still call us every week of what happened in your house, your family. So we still keep communication with her all the time. Yeah. So thank you. I'm sorry that we missed her for today. And we just say, I wish she in here, so we can more fun, but sorry.
都不还，还是说这种没啥。Okay. My mom's real shy, so we're not gonna say too much, but we want to say that it was an honor to be in her life. for her to support us and to grow up with her help. She was a role model to everybody. I grew up in front of her eyes, and I don't think my life would have been the same without her. We all adore her, we all love her, we all miss her, and I'm pretty sure that we're all here because of her, and we are here today the way we are because of her. And I just want to thank you, Bill. Thank you, Catherine. Thank your family for always allowing us, and also Robert for always just opening the door, welcoming us. When I was going down to college here, Robert and Erica always welcomed me. So, unforgettable, irreplaceable. Thank you so much.
And also, the first word with our son, he go to college in UCLY. Erica came and picked him to UCLY. And Erica said, let me drive him to UCLY. So we thank you everything what she did for our family. And but still, James, Bill, Richard, and Caitlin keep on coming visit us. The Erica never said that your family is there. Erica call us our family. She is the our family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
So we met her when we were 4 and 5, and so we're gonna share, but I just have a couple stories I want to share with you, and I think it truly defines who Erica was and who she is as an individual. I was 5 years old when I met her in the camp, and you can see some of the pictures. I just remember this was my first image of her. She had her long, beautiful blonde hair, and she had braided it, and it was cascading down. And she was in high heels in a very muddy camp, and she stepped out, and I saw her, and it felt like she was glowing. And it was the first time ever, so if you can imagine a little 5-year-old refugee girl, all dirty and whatever, out playing on the streets, looking at her, and I felt like I was seeing some sort of goddess. I did, and that's my first image of her, and that's how I remembered her. And she had this camera around her neck. She carried her camera all the time, and she started snapping pictures of us. And I was so fearful because that was my first time ever seeing a camera. And I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna die now because she's really gonna, why does she keep snapping? And everything we had heard in the camps about Americans were that they're gonna eat you, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. And she came up to me, took her hands and cupped it like this, and she smiled the most beautiful smile. And that began their friendship. And that was the first time I met her. Erica had an amazing ability to build bridges. It didn't matter who you were, what color you were. She just had this amazing ability. And I remember when I was in my teenage years, I was pretty rebellious then, and she had visited my family. And she sat me down, and my dad had told her some of the naughty things I was doing. And she sat me down to have a come to Jesus talk with me. And I was very much lost and caught between being Hmong or being American. And kind of not knowing, when you're a teenager, you don't really know where you fit in. And she sat down with me, and I said, Erica, I don't know if I can do it in this world. And I don't know if I can make it out there. And she said something that stuck with me all my life. And she said, you can do anything you want, and you can do it even better. And she looked me right in the eyes, and she said, what do you want to be? Because all you got to do is just believe it. And who would have known that, years later, a little refugee girl would grow up to become something, to become the very first Hmong principal in the United States, to become the first Hmong instructional superintendent in the entire United States. And this was because of her. And so it was really because of her and her influence and her belief and her never-ending support for just anyone. And so, I remember her, and I just, Erica, wherever you are, I want to thank you, and I love you.
And, and of course, it's a pleasure to meet her family today and to be here amongst all of you. Can tell that she was very, very much loved.
Well, I think my story is pretty similar, and she had always asked us, hey, you guys need to write a story together, just about our American experience from being refugees and how we've just kind of, gone through life. And I think last year we had this wonderful opportunity to write an article for her and pay homage to her that, for all of the things that she had brought to us. I told her, I think in her last couple of times when I saw her, she was our American mom. So my sister, my cousin, our other cousins, she was our American mom. And she came to, my funny story is, okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit. So my dad was telling about how we all lived together, 23 of us inside this, there's a 3-bedroom house, Dad. 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom, all of us together, and we all went to the same school. Now, we have the same exact name. No middle initials, nothing like that. So we're both Mao Hers. And we went to school, we're a year apart, but the school didn't know that. So we went to school, we're in different classes, but when lunchtime came,
Or breakfast.
only one of us could eat because there was only one ticket. And so nobody ever thought that, like, okay, there are these 2 little girls, but we have the same address because we're all living together. But it took her to actually go to the school and clear it up and say, hey, there are 2 girls with the same name, they're different grades, so they need 2 separate meal tickets.
So we took turns eating.
We would take
for a
turns,
while.
it took a little while, but I mean, it's things like that I remember the most, America. I think that more important than any of the other things that she has continuously returned to in our lives. When we graduated from high school, she was there. When we all got married, she was there. When I graduated from college, she was there. When I graduated from dental school, she was there. It was amazing. And I have to say, I am a big part of what I am is because of her. I think just the spirit of trying, the spirit of positivity, the love that she puts out to everybody, that also kind of like Misty here. I actually in 2000 was the first among female dentists in the country. So, and I owe it to somebody inspirational like Erica, who inspired me to tell me that I could do anything else that anybody could do, even if I wasn't born here. So I think she leaves such a legacy for all of us to continue to instill in our kids, and I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss, I think, the last couple of things I did with her, painting her nails, braiding her hair, and just listening to Enya, listening to opera, and watching her episodes of
Land Before Time.
Land Before Time, right? And I would show her, this is my favorite show, look, and you're the mom. So it was amazing, and to kind of go full circle and tell her how much I loved her as my American mom. I'm gonna miss you, I love you, and thank you for all the support and guidance and everything that you've given all of us to be who we are today. So thank you, Catherine and Bill and everybody.
Hi, I'm Kay. I met Erica upon her returning from the refugee camps back in like 1980. She walked into my salon. I've been doing her hair ever since. What I thought when I first saw her was I thought that I had landed Elizabeth Montgomery from Bewitched, and that was so iconic for me. But then as I got to know her, I said I got the magical part of that being. And Erica really was, she's like a unicorn, and she was always so compassionate and funny and smart and brilliant. I never got tired of our visits. Erica actually had like this fan club of people that get off work by 3 o'clock in the afternoon at my salon. People started to book their appointments with her so we could all visit together. And what it really got down to was being that she was so open to any culture that that's what we all had in common. And she lived that. And I met so many fabulous people through her. And I had a friend that used to joke about, wanting me to sign up for like other side businesses. And I go, oh no, I have my own pyramid scheme with Erica for love and compassion. That's really where she touched my world, because it really opened my heart. She saw me through a horrible marriage and never had one judgment against the ex or anybody that was having difficulty. So she really lived it through and through, and I'm so glad I got to know her family. She knew all of my family through all the years, and there was a lot of them. She met like 60 people over these, last 35 years. We're gonna meet each other. And I just happened to go to a huge spring banquet last night, and a lot of them were there, and I told them I was coming. So they just all, like, their hearts just opened, went, oh my God, Erica. So thank you so much for having this, so we have a chance to share this. And Erica, I can really feel that, now without the body, it's really her soaring soul that's here with us. So thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Peter Young. I had the good fortune of meeting Erica when I was at work one day. This was back in 1983. And I was in Fresno, and I read this article in the local newspaper. And it talked about this actress who went to the Hmong refugee camp in Thailand and lived with them for a couple of months. And she was publicizing the plight of the Hmong in Fresno, and she was hoping that it would generate publicity and people would want to get involved. The article moved me because I said, why would a lady from Hollywood, an actress, want to go across the world and live 2 months in a Hmong refugee camp and help those who are less fortunate? So I said, I gotta meet this lady, and I had the opportunity to meet her, and she was a warm person, and she motivated me to want to do something. So I asked Erica, I said, Erica, what can I do? I'm not an actor, I'm not Hollywood. So she said, you can be a friend to my family that helped me in the Hmong refugee camp in Thailand. So I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. And through our efforts, Erica gave me a lead, and I was able to get the young lady, the principal, the superintendent. She's Misty Mounds to her. She was only like 9 or 11 years old at the time, but I remember meeting her, and the father. I said, God, I got to help these people, to help the family. So I was able to get the father a part-time custodial job, and of course, eventually he became full-time. Eventually, he was able to retire, and the family's doing very well. So well, as you heard, that Mao is the leading educator of Hmong descent in the United States. So, but other than that, I was helping the family because I was gathering things from my family, friends, donated things, furniture, clothes, and eventually they got on their feet, they moved on, and I'm very proud of them. But Mao, the superintendent, when I met her, she was just a 9 or 11-year-old young girl. She didn't speak any English at the time, but I remember seeing her with this inquisitive look. She wanted to know what was going on. We were doing an interview with our local newspaper, and she was right up front, and she was looking at things, but she couldn't read it, of course, but she had that smile. So she and I became good friends, and I'm very happy that she has done extremely well. I'm happy that the family has done well, and I'm happy to say that they're still my friends after 45 years, even though I moved to New York for a few years and came back. We stayed in touch all these years. So I'm happy that Erica introduced me. I'm happy I was able to know Erica, and I came and met with her in the days when she was ill, and we had a good chat. And Catherine, you can remember my chat with her right over here. So we were able to share a lot of things. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Vindhya, and I known Erica and her mom almost 20 years. I known them. First I met Erica's mom, Eleanor, where she was staying before. Then mom said, oh, my daughter is coming today. I want to introduce you to her, Erica. I said, okay. Then I was a little bit scared first. I don't know who's Erica because I never know. As soon as I saw her, she's so bubbly, and she gave me a big hug, I guess, biggest hug I ever got, I guess. Then ever since we start talking every time she visits, and they having lunch or dinner, I will tell them, okay, I'll sit somewhere else. That's where I'm supposed to sit because I work over there. She said, no, I have a room over here. You have to sit with us as a family. So it is always, she's so kind and nice and always give guidance, everything. And after I worked there, I joined the Navy actually. So then her mom and Erica sent me a note and a picture too. Wish you all the luck, and I'll be so happy what you're doing, and you are so brave. Don't be scared. Do whatever you do, and we love you every day. So we had contacts for a long time, and then after that I went to different career because of their love and kindness and down to earth. I don't know, I never met people like that. Still, I mean, I don't think I ever going to meet Erica and Eleanor. And I'm so blessed because of their, whatever they show, they are passionate or love. I think I grew up to be a good person, I guess. I'm a nurse right now, so I'm so happy. And for a short time, I didn't have a contact with Erica. Then all of a sudden, Catherine contacted me and told me about this event happening today. Then I asked her, who are you? I don't know. I heard your names, but then she said it's my Erica's sister, and we having this service, and please come and join. So I was thinking that time, oh my God, how loving is Erica. She kept the phone numbers ever and ever, I think. So that's how we get in touch, and I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy to come to this event, and thank you very much for the family for inviting me to this event. And I miss Erica and Mom, and dearly I think they'll be in my heart every day.
My name is J.C. Love. I am not a Hagen. I live with one. Catherine is my, I guess we're still engaged, right?
Nancy.
15 years ago, I met Erica. 15 years ago next month, actually. And Robert had a card. He's a member of the Film Academy. And Erica managed to grab hold of John Calley's card, who she worked for at Sony. And so the four of us would go to the film at the theater, the Academy Theater on Mill Street. And it was great fun, wasn't it, Catherine? It was great fun. And that's how I got to know Erica. But the thing that I don't know that anybody's really talked about is the period of time when their mom was living here, living in this room right behind me. Erica became the prime caregiver for her mom, Eleanor. I took Eleanor out to dinner twice a week, or once every 2 weeks, I guess it was. I'd come out about 5 o'clock and pick her up, and we'd go to the pancake house, and we would eat, and then I'd bring her back, and then I'd go to a class I was taking at the time. And Erica was just always there. And I was only there every other week. She was there every minute. And the fact that she was responsible for her mom, took care of her mom over a long, long illness, just attests to the kind of person that everybody else has talked about this afternoon. What a giving, caring, loving person she was. And she will be missed, I'm sure, by everybody who's ever had any contact with her. Thank you.
My name is John Gregory. I'm a retiree from Sony Pictures, and that's how I met Erica. I'm glad that you got back to the cat rescue thing, because Erica, as we're being reminded of today, was remarkable at many levels for many reasons. And while the cat rescue was mentioned briefly, and again, thank you so much, I want to get back to that because I happen to be with an animal rescue group, and I can appreciate how much work is involved with doing it. And Erica was doing it on her own. It was an absolutely heroic effort. I have one of her cats at home, Tuxie, who is very talkative, reminds me that it's time to eat, always. But I appreciate her efforts. Again, as I say, since I'm with a rescue group, I can appreciate that particular effort. And I want to give a special thanks to Erica for a different reason. She was working in John Calley's office. John Calley was the head of Sony Pictures. He later retired. He later stepped down from that, and he went back to doing his own production work, which he loved to do. And he passed away. And Erica very kindly got me invited to the memorial service. And I got to accomplish one of my life's goals was to meet Mel Brooks, who was one of the speakers there. So I have a little special thank you to Erica for that. Thank you all.
I'm Marcel Soriano, and I probably know some of you by name. I don't know you visually. I don't know her family except in pictures, which she kept so frequently sharing her history. Ironically, I met Erica 35 years ago. I was a school administrator in the Garvey School District at the time, and I was really struggling with the district's insensitivity to the diverse cultures that we served. And she was recommended by somebody at the County Office of Education, and I invited her to come in and help me do some training. And from then on, the rest is history, because the next 35 years, I spent a lot of time with her professionally. And in fact, even personally, because there was a time when I needed a place to live. I lived here for about 3 months, something like that. I was telling my son, I have a picture of Erica here with my son. This is my son. That's Erica.
He hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah. He's changed a little bit, yes. At any rate, so in fact she dog sat our dog here. You know, and so but the most important thing about Erica is her humanity, her commitment and passion. I mean, I don't know of anyone who gave up Hollywood and fame for working with refugees, and her passion to help people understand and respect each other. I mean, we really need people like that today, desperately. So I worked with her. She actually taught at Cal State LA. I retired 5 years ago from Cal State LA after about 30 years of teaching. She taught with me. She also was a co-director of the project that I was involved in, a research project on how to train people to become culturally sensitive, culturally appropriate. We have a CD-ROM. You probably have one. If not, I can send you one, because I have one with her, where the three of us, the three people who researched and provided the training, came together. And then we went on and trained. She actually traveled with me. We went to Europe, Germany, and she taught here at Cal State LA in various places as a result of the what we call the ICP project, the Intercultural Proficiency Project, which is a 24-unit course or certificate at Cal State LA that hopefully is still there. So I don't know what happens after you retire. Sometimes people will say, nah, that's not good anymore. But anyway, I cannot say enough about Erica. She is such a member of my family. I mean, my wife is here, my son is here, my other son, she didn't get to be the second one. I accidentally dialed her about 5 months ago. My phone somehow pushed the wrong button and ended up calling her. And she said, Marcel, you called me. And I said, Erica, oh, how are you? No, I didn't call you. She said, yes, you did. Check your phone. And sure enough, you know, that's when she told me that she was ill and that she was struggling. The next time I called her, I didn't get an answer. So thank you for inviting me. I appreciate being part of this celebration. It really is a celebration of Erica's life. And thank you.
My name is Louis Koritsky, and I met Erica 3 times before I finally was able to engage with her. The first time was in a hall in the medical building, the Beverly Sunset Building at 9201 Sunset Boulevard. I'm a physician, and I met her with another doctor. Then I met her at Hamburger Hamlet and tried to make a lame line to get hooked in with her. It was very unsuccessful. Then eventually she came to me for a medical problem. Erica came to me because she had sustained an injury to her leg. She wanted the cast off, and she said it was really hurting her, and no one would take her to cast off. So I said, well, I'll take your cast off. She had called the doctor who had put it on, And he had thought she was just a histrionic female and she was making more of it than she should. We took the cast off. She had sustained a serious burn on her leg. Now, as those of you who knew the physicality of Erica Hagen, she was beauty incarnate, all of her. And for her, she was actually doing leg commercials. I don't know if they had Legs brand stockings at that day, but she was doing commercials for them, and this was somewhat difficult for her to deal with. She was going to put on makeup, it was going to be okay. So I said, well, Erica, how do you feel about this? She felt mistreated because the person who put the cast on had just sort of shined her on. So I said, let me call the guy up. So I called him up, I said, your patient's here, and she sustained an injury to her leg. He says, oh, she's making more of it than need be. I said, sir, this patient has suffered a 3rd-degree burn on her leg. It is not a minor league issue. She just wants you to apologize to you. So I said, Erica, what do you want? She said, well, there's nothing to take the burn away. I just feel like he didn't treat me in an honest and sincere and caring fashion like I would want to be treated if I could just hear him say, look, I'm really, really sorry, I misjudged. For those of you, if any of you are in the health profession, we at that time had transferred over from plaster casts to fiberglass. It very clearly said in the instructions, if you're going to apply fiberglass, do not use hot water because it makes the heat dramatically expand. When you had plaster, you could choose the temperature of water depending upon how fast you wanted the plaster to set. So if you wanted a real fast set, you'd use hot water. If you wanted a slow set, cold, but they said, please, this is a new item, do not use hot water. The orthopedist apparently was above reading the directions and injured Erica. So I got on the phone to him. I said, look, all Erica wants is she feels like you didn't respect that she was suffering and that you didn't really respect who she was, and she feels she deserves better. She just wants an apology. He said, she's not going to get an apology. And she sued him and won a product misuse liability suit. So I learned a number of wonderful things from Erica. I was never quite sure how much of Erica was Tinkerbell and how much was this real lady, because she was always like magic. Magical things always happened around her when I was with her. She was humble, she was generous, she was kind, and I think she was extraordinarily brave. And when I would talk to her about the things that she did, and I'd say to her, you did that? And she acted like, well, what is there to be afraid of? I'm just going around in the world doing good. I'm sure good will happen. That was her philosophy. And today, when we see so much less of that, I'm jealous of one thing, though. I wanted to be able to get up and say that I knew Erica the longest of anybody who wasn't in her family. And I apologize. I'm so jealous. I'm jealous of you for having that, because I had so many years with Erica, but so too few at the same time. I feel so lucky to have known her for that many years. And I just hope that a fraction of the persons who are in this room at the time when the lights go out for me will be able to smile as brightly and as fondly as I do every time I think of the name of Erica Hagen. It was a privilege and honor, and it's led me to better paths as a better man to have followed in her footsteps.
I'm Julianne. I'm Erica's cousin. I'm the cousin that's the same age as Erica. She and I were the first 2 post-war babies. Her father got home from the war 3 months before mine did, so she's 3 months older than I. I'm a Hagen. There are several of my Hagen cousins here today, and normally we're a very gregarious and garrulous lot, but so far my cousins are being very silent, so I decided to get up and say something. Obviously, my memories with Erica go way, way back. We have pictures of the 2 of us when we were 2 years old and on up. Some of my favorite memories of Erica, one when she first came out to LA to start working in TV and whatever. She stayed with me in my apartment for 6 months. And I remember it was very interesting because she was giving me fashion tips and makeup tips and introducing me to some of her Hollywood friends. And it was a whole side of life that I had never seen before because I was a teacher. Then she and I, at one point during that time, took an amazing road trip up through Big Sur, and we just had some really lovely times together. My school, where I was teaching, was a private school, and we wanted to do some multicultural sensitivity training. And this was at a time when Erica had her own consulting business doing exactly that. And so my school hired her, and she came in and did a day-long workshop on multicultural sensitivity training. And she was really good because she had had so much experience with other cultures, with other people. She was always very sensitive to other people and other cultures, and had a really good way of explaining that to other people and taking us through exercises so that we would understand. She worked with police departments and a lot of different groups. I also remember many years ago, actually, NPR had a story project, and they asked people to send in stories. And Erica told me that she had sent in a story and that it was in the book that came out. I highly recommend this book to any of you. It's called I Thought My Father Was God. And Erica has a story about a small world adventure that she had way back in Bali, where she met a man at an airport who took her home to meet his family, and his little granddaughter came out and looked at Erica and sort of went, and went back into her room and came out, and she had a card, like a fan club card of Erica in Land of the Lost. And the way Erica wrote this story up, it was just so perfect. It was wonderful. So I recommend that to people. Erica and I were always very close. I thought she was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful person. She and I shared a lot of talk, a lot of memories, and we're all going to really miss her. I lost my own sister a year and a half ago, so I know what Catherine is going through. And a sister is a very special thing, but Erica was also a very special cousin.
Hi, I'm Chris Hagen. I'm Erica's first cousin. Her dad and my dad were brothers, but they were, 10 years apart or something like that. They were a lot of years apart. So I was the oldest in my family, but she was about 5 years older than I am. So our paths didn't cross too much except a couple of times. And I remember having the most fun when, and by the way, the Hagen clan was a very tight clan. You know, John and Marge and Wad and Lorraine and my mom and dad and Bill and Eleanor, whenever they got together, it was, hey, who wants to play cards? Let's get some bridge going. Let's have a good time. And then a few beers or other drinks would flow. And before you knew it, it was just like family. And it was just amazing because it was family. It was a party time. So I remember when the Hagens would come out from Kansas, and we couldn't understand, why would they live out in Kansas? It's cold out there. But when they would come out to visit, usually on the train or to spend a week or so, we always ended up over at the Smalls house in Riverside, and because they had the swimming pool. And we would play, Erica and Catherine and Bill and I think Jim and Richard were too small. Carol, my sister, was in there. But when there was a blue plastic boat that was no longer than this, and I think you were there too with Karen, right? A blue plastic boat, and that was like golden to all of us. And we would get 5, 6 kids loaded into that plastic boat, and it would sink to the bottom, and we would just stay there. And hold our breaths as long as we could. My point being that I grew up believing and really feeling very strongly, and I think everybody in the family feels this way, that our family was like golden. The Hagen family had a tradition of just being a really close family, loving the out of doors, loving adventures, doing fun things together. And when I have now heard all about the exploits of Erica, and I knew some of them, but I was 5 years younger. I knew about her time with the Hmong tribe over in Cambodia. And I thought that was rather odd that she would shift from that, from the career of a model and a TV actress and a movie actress and so forth to do that. But it said, there's something about this cousin of mine I need to understand better. And now that I've heard the stories that have come out of the graceful and wonderful Hmong people who were here today share their experiences of what a giving and caring and loving person. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It just warmed my heart and brought tears to my eyes. So over the years, as we grew older, of course, I got to know Erica better as a person, and we would get together occasionally at family gatherings, and she was everything that everybody here said she was. She was gracious, kind, loving. She always had a story, and she was always really, truly interested in what's going on in your life, what's happening with you. We miss her terribly. She was just an amazing presence in our family. So was your mom, you know. And they passed not that far apart. Both of them were so family oriented, and they had contact information for everybody, cousins, second cousins, distant cousins, and they were such a glue, at the center of the hub of this wheel of Hagen family, and it brought us all together and kept us together a lot. So Erica, we miss you a lot. We love you. Your presence will always be in our hearts. Thank you very much.
I think all of us, me and everybody, are so lucky to have known Erica. Every day as we go forward in our life, the strength and the beauty, internal as well as external, the amazing humanity that she brought to this whole world. And I think of all the people out there that aren't here but that she touched, whether it be just at a supermarket or her kindness with people she didn't know. So many people that couldn't make it today that have been touched by her and will touch others with the gifts that she gave as a human. And the world is lacking that right now, and if we can all kind of go forward and bring whatever we can from our own selves, the essence of Erica, forward in our lives and keep her memory going. I feel like she really is here with us and would be smiling, that beautiful radiant smile. And I remember we would rescue kittens, and she would go to we went to a place called the Jungle, which is like the worst neighborhood you can imagine and scary for most people, and she had zero fear. She just walked down the street and talked to everybody and helped so many kittens, so many animals, but I didn't realize how many people that she had touched. And it's just amazing to do both. Sometimes people do one, humans, animals, everything, and born with the genetic lottery like that, and walking away from Hollywood and all the different things and doing what she did is just a huge inspiration. I think all of us are luckier and will be stronger for the rest of our lives because of her. So grateful.
I'm Stephanie Babcock, and I met Erica, I guess, Chris, what is it, 10 years ago? Chris?
10 years, 2009.
Okay. Miss Chris Kelly over there helped to rescue 80 cats from a woman who had passed away and needed somebody to find homes for her cats. So ended up bringing them to the animal hospital where I worked, and I met Robin Olin there, the love of my life, Christian Vargas, my best friend, Yonat, and just all of these wonderful people came together to get these cats out, clean them up, make sure they were all fixed, vetted, dentals, microchips, vaccinations. A million things, and it was just a huge undertaking. Several of those cats came to live here and now have subsequently moved on to other homes and a wonderful sanctuary up in Northern California. I couldn't compromise when trying to find a place for Erica's cats to go because they were her kids and they were her constant companions and her best friends. And just as we wouldn't compromise with the 80 cats from Northridge, we all have to help each other because all of us in it for the animals often wind up with more than what we should have. I'm well on my way there, especially with the 4 cats I took from Erica. But I just think, you know, if there can't be people like Erica, like myself, like all of us in rescue, if we don't all step up and support each other when the time comes. And at first, when I would come to these kind of scenarios, I would get angry and be like, why would this person have so many animals? And, you know, why are they taking such poor care of them? But as I meet more and more of these people in the community, and you know that they're doing it out of pure love and don't know where else to put them because nobody wants them. And you know, I don't really have the money to do what should be done, so I'm gonna do the best that I can. And it's just, it's a very hard thing to see, and you see it over and over and over and over. And I'm just really glad that I got to be put in the position to help Erica's cats, because I knew so many of them since they were kittens, and I knew what she would want for them. And so I'm really grateful to have met her and worked with her on the last project and her projects and all the ones in between. And I just miss her a lot.
I actually met her through Stephanie, who came to talk not too long ago. We actually were just shopping around at kind of like a swap meet, and she was there, and my mom saw her and kind of was just curious, you know, what she was doing there, and she was actually advocating for cats at that time. And we were really curious because we had just gotten our first cat. So we were like, oh, do you have any tips and tricks? And she gave my mom her phone number. And, you know, we're like, great, this was a wonderful woman. Maybe thought we'd never see her again. And then about 3 weeks later, we had a mama who had a litter of babies in our backyard. And the first person my mom thought to call was Erica. And so she did. She came over actually and was giving us tips on how to help this mom and how to help these babies. And eventually it turned into, we had about 19 kittens in our house. And that she helped us home. She helped us home every single one of them. And then I would come and spend my summers with her here, and I would help her take care of her cats, and I would help her clean the traps, and she taught me how to do all of that. And those are very, very fond memories that I have of spending time with her, and she's a very crucial part of who I am now. I actually work for a cat rescue now, and I still can see every time that I came and helped her out here, and I really had a great time meeting her and her mom. They're really wonderful people, and they will really, really be missed. But I appreciate her being around and all the help that she gave me and my family. Thank you.